This is a bonus episode of History as It Happens. It's January 28th, 2026. On the streets of Minnesota, a federal paramilitary force in combat gear is executing a deliberate policy of terror and violence against American citizens and their immigrant neighbors.
This individual showed up to a law enforcement operation with a weapon and dozens of rounds of ammunition. He wasn't there to peacefully protest. He was there to perpetuate violence.
I'm done being told that our community members are responsible for the vitriol in our streets.
When someone makes the choice to come into an active law enforcement scene, interfere, obstruct, delay, or assault law enforcement officers, and they bring a weapon to do that, that is a choice that individual made.
What side do you want to be on? The side of an all-powerful federal government that can kill, injure, menace, and kidnap its citizens off the streets? Or on the side of a nurse at the VA hospital who died bearing witness to such government?
The backlash to the murder of Alex Pretty by trigger-happy federal agents has been so intense that even some of President Trump's sycophantic defenders are now saying the violent immigration raids have gone too far. All this has intensified a debate that's been roiling since 2016. Is Trumpism a form of fascism? Is fascism a political ideology or a set of behaviors? Is there an American type of fascism, or does this political phenomenon belong to the bygone era of interwar Europe, where it died in 1945? Roger Griffin is an authority on fascism, professor emeritus of modern history at Oxford Brookes University in England. He and I have been talking about fascism for the past several years. Roger Griffin, welcome back, my friend.
Well, thank you very much.
I was mistaken to think that the fascism debate had gone away. What a fool I am. I would say it's been renewed recently by what's going on in Minnesota, but it never really went away. So my first question to you, I'm holding a book written by a fellow by the name of Roger Griffin, first published in the early 1990s, The Nature of Fascism, Chapter 2, A Concise Definition. Fascism is a genus of political ideology whose mythic core and its various permutations is a palingenetic form of populist ultranationalism. I'm starting with this because not everyone listens to every episode. It has been a few years since you first appeared and introduced me and the audience to your one-sentence definition. You're watching what's going on in Minnesota right now. Is that fascism? Why or why not? Or has your definition of the term changed?
Well, let's go back to my one-sentence definition. There's a Woody Allen. I know he's become toxic because of his gender issues, but Woody Allen tells a joke of asking the rabbi if there is a meaning to life, and he says yes, and tells him the meaning of life in one sentence, but he says it in Hebrew, and then he wants to charge Woody Allen $15 an hour to teach him the Hebrew to understand the meaning of life. And so I coined, when I was a naive, not even very ambitious, it was really personal curiosity. I wanted to nail this thing called fascism that seemed to wriggle all over the place and was polymorphous and kept shape changing and all that. And I wanted to nail it down and turn it into a normal concept, which I didn't succeed in doing. But what I did do when I read a lot of fascists, some of them self-confessed fascists, some of them obviously very much a part of the family, I saw a pattern which I crystallized in that sentence. And I have not erred from that. In fact, what's been remarkable about my own personal career, and here my Trumpian egomania is getting the better of me, there's now a whole second or third generation of graffini, of people who use my definition very creatively. They modify it, they apply it to local circumstances, but the basic core stays there. What is this basic core? Well, the word palingenetic is a bit like one of those little copyright symbols that you put into a song or whatever, but anybody can use it and I don't get money for it. But basically, it's the hallmark of my definition is this adjective that nobody used before much in political science, and it just means rebirth. So fascism, from the study of the events of fascism and from the pronouncements of fascists, was not just the destruction of liberalism within a democratic state. In other words, it wasn't just a rabid form of anti-migration, anti-woke, anti-feminist, anti-internationalist democracy, where you start saying France for the French or Germany for the Germans, and let's get rid of all these alien elements which are messing up our democracy. It is a specifically anti-democratic form of revolutionary politics that turns the nation into a mythic beast that wants to create a new form of itself. It wants to die as a democracy and rise as a phoenix into a new order, neue Ordnung, with a new population, which is no longer a population of individual citizens applying their citizen right to voting. This is a Volksgemeinschaft. This is a popular or people's community, which has a sort of group ethos, like a huge, well, like the Greek is zoon politikon. This is a big political animal called the Germans, the Americans, the British, and they form this huge being, this entity, this Leviathan, if you want to go into history, but that would take us to another podcast. And this being has been destroyed from within by all sorts of horrible democratic forces, like the ideas of equality and the ideas of a multicultural society, or the ideas of that homosexuals have rights, or that international trade doesn't affect our sense of who we are, etc.
Or the idea that we're supposed to be seeking peace with the world, right? Because fascism has a belligerence to it as well, right?
Yeah. The international vision of liberal democracy after the First World War is an international order based on nation states informed by liberal democratic principles broadly. Now, these are very edited principles because they exclude women from voting largely, and certainly children, and they also have all sorts of xenophobic bits in them. But nevertheless, the idea of an international order held together by some sort of a consensus about liberal democratic.
To listen to this entire 28-minute episode, become a subscriber. Tap subscribe now in the show notes, or go to historyasithappens.com and make it happen. You'll get all bonus episodes in full, ad-free listening, and 24/7 access to the entire catalog of more than 500 episodes. Again, it's historyasithappens.com.